The minute I walked in the door, just being greeted by everybody it was like I'd never left here. It was amazing. The people that were everything was so warm and friendly, and I was touched immediately.
We started attending back in maybe September or October, early October, just before we moved out here, hoping to find a church home before we got settled into our new neighborhood. And actually, ever since we started coming here, we haven't been anywhere else. So it was such a natural fit for us that we were really excited to get lucky right off the bat. So.
Yeah.
Church should be your home, and when we walked in, we, not only felt the warmth of the people, but we felt how they were excited to serve Christ.
Well, going to church in jeans has been a little bit of a change for me, but I like it. I mean, I like that it's not about how I look when I show up or what I bring or what I do. I feel like when people show up here, it's really to participate. We really liked our former church, but we felt like there came a point where we just weren't growing as much. And most of that was on the biblical-based teachings. We just really appreciate Pastor Dan and his ability to draw in everyone and make them feel like they walk away with more than they came with. And certainly through the music ministry and through his teachings, we feel like we're getting more out of church every Sunday.
I get touched by just about every sermon I come in here. Sometimes I leave in tears. I mean, I'll walk out of here going, my God, did God talk to Dan today and tell Dan what to talk about? I mean, it's just amazing, some of the things that come out of his sermons. And I'll leave here and I'll go up to Dan and say, Dan, man, that was amazing,
I think for us, it just embodies community. I mean, this is what we were looking for, was a place to belong and a place to be part of something bigger than ourselves.
And they don't throw religion down your throat. I mean, that's the biggest thing that I really liked about this place, is that when you walk in the door, no one's trying to slam religion down you. And that was always my biggest fear growing up with churches was, everybody slamming the religion thing in front of you, slapping a Bible in your hand and, believe and heal and all those kinds of things, And
I enjoy the recreational side of it, getting together with a bunch of guys with similar beliefs that aren't out to be, I don't know, if we play softball together, if we do paintball together, those kind of things, you can do it and enjoy the time with guys that aren't, it's not the same as just going out and playing softball with a group of guys. It's people that have similar beliefs that are kind and caring about each other, and you want to be there.
We've known the Lord for a long time, and sometimes you can get kind of complacent, and a new fire is built back up underneath me, and I think the Holy Spirit's really starting to move.
I've seen my kids who have been attending church since Miranda was 2, come to know more about the Bible in just the last few months we've been here than they had up until that point. And part of that's our responsibility, don't get me wrong, but when they come home, they can tell me what they've learned. They can share stories, they're sharing their songs, they're sharing their verses, and that is huge for me.
One of the very first things that we looked at from a church perspective was, what is the youth ministry like? Because that's something that I really believe strongly in is we have to have our youth involved early so that they know what that's like to grow up with Christ, as opposed to have to go to church. I don't want to, but my parents make me. And I see the upstairs being built out as one of these opportunities for our children to really they learn more in a setting that is designed for them. Right now, I'm a jam teacher, and it's crowded. I mean, it truly is crowded, and it's awfully hard to teach when you're worried about 20 kids in a room and trying to keep, and it's hard because it's not tailored to them. So we have a lot of grades that are combined. And there's a big difference between, a second and a third grader and a fourth and a fifth grader. Mm-hmm. So I see building out the upstairs as an opportunity to touch their lives more personally.
As the kids get a chance to have their own classrooms and be less interrupted with moving things around, all of a sudden their depth and what they learn from the Lord is really going to grow, and you're going to see the fruits of those efforts.
As well as I've been here during the week when you're trying to get Bible study together, or when you're wanting to get your small group together, and we don't have the rooms all the time to offer up for that. So that's another opportunity I really see, is that small groups. There's going to be the little loft area, which should be a nice casual place for people to get together. And I also see that on Sundays. There's so many people, so that's a great problem to have. But when you're in the hallway between worship services, you get to see some people and you ask, how are you doing? And if there's a moment that you really want to talk in a private setting, you can't find that. Yeah, you cannot
Nowhere to
find a
go.
private setting.
When you start investing in your kids and start growing them up in the Lord and getting them grounded on His Word, what you'll find is a church that will explode, and it will take on a new excitement that not only do the kids get fed, but so do the parents, and the parents get really, really involved. And everybody starts to grow, and that's when the Holy Spirit will really begin to use your church to do wonderful, wonderful things.
The future's certain. I mean, there's no doubt about it. God's working through Cobb Prairie Church, without a doubt.